In this episode, we'll be discussing the growing cybersecurity job market, the multiple disciplines that fall under the cybersecurity umbrella, and what is required to launch a career. And believe me, it doesn't include a college degree. So if you want to become a cybersecurity professional, you want to keep listening.
Do you want a career in cybersecurity? Are you unsure how to start? Curious what it means to be a cybersecurity professional? This is the Cyber Job Hacks Podcast with Dr. Jeff Colburn. He's a 30-year industry professional and the founder of Team Caveo, a company that specializes in helping people launch cyber careers. Join us on this podcast as we explore what it means to be a cybersecurity professional and how to get started. Welcome to the show.
Do you want to be part of an online community of like-minded people? Join us at cyberjobhacks.com. Here you'll receive the latest industry news, cybersecurity career trends, invitations to free events, and exclusive offers. Join us, cyberjobhacks.com. Welcome to the first episode of Cyber Job Hacks. I'm your host, Jeff Colburn. Before we get into this episode, I just want to kind of introduce myself since this is our first time meeting. So I've been working in the IT industry for nearly 30 years as a network engineer. Been a CCIE for over 20 years. And in 2013, I founded this organization called Team Caveo with the purpose of helping people to launch careers in IT. And for the past 11 years, we've been doing exactly that, right? We've been helping people who don't normally have the opportunity to get into IT. We've been helping them acquire those skills and knowledge to launch a career. And we trained hundreds of students, and we must have interviewed over 1,000, since 2013. And one of the things that, students mentioned when we interview them is they want to get into cybersecurity. But when you dig into this and you ask them, what part of cybersecurity they want to be involved in, they really don't know. They don't have an answer. They just know they want to get into cybersecurity because they're here. That's a good place to get into. So that's kind of the goal of this podcast. And the reason we started this podcast is so that, you can learn more about cybersecurity, what it is, what are the disciplines that fall under this rather large umbrella called cybersecurity. Talk about some of the trends in the industry. And then probably most importantly is how you get started, like how you can launch a career in cybersecurity. So, let's kind of let's get into it, right? So, as many of my past applicants know, and what drew them to this in the first place is that there's a great demand and this ongoing demand for security practitioners. If you look at, current data, there's over 4 million open security positions in the world, and 500,000 of those positions are in the U.S. And you'll hear this term called the cybersecurity skill gap or the security skills gap. And really that's what it's saying is that there's more positions, more open positions than people to fill them. And there's a reason for this, right? So, that is because the way people work today has changed dramatically, especially since the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, most people worked inside an office. The data that they accessed was in the office. A company would just build a strong perimeter security, and then it'd be relatively open inside, right? So they just kind of control who can get in and out of them, into the network. But once you're in the network, it's pretty wide open. And then that's changed. It's no longer the case. Now, you have people working from home, they're working remotely. It's not just PCs, they got their phones, they're using tablets, data's being stored in the cloud. So now you have this larger attack surface. So that means there's more security controls. There's no longer is perimeter security sufficient. Now you have to start locking things down inside your network, right? So now you'll hear this concept of zero trust networking, whereas, we're trying to move to something that's called least privilege, where people only have access to what they should have access to, and even applications only have access to what they should have access to. So that's just creating this greater demand for people who know security. They know how to implement and security controls and how to mitigate risks. So, as we, and these are some of the things we'll be talking about more in future episodes. We'll start digging a little deeper into, the industry and where it's going and where the opportunities are in that industry. But again, I don't know if you're going to define cybersecurity, you can say it's a practice of protecting systems, networks, and programs from digital attacks. And again, that's a very broad statement, and there's a lot that falls underneath that. What are the opportunities in cybersecurity? What are the roles you could be doing? And it goes everything from penetration testing, threat hunting, forensic analysis, vulnerability investigators. Then you can start getting into network security, cloud security, application security, right? There's just so much. There's so many avenues that you could go in cybersecurity. The question is, where do you start? Well, only security is not enough, right? So you have to be rooted in something, right? If you can be securing the cloud, if you're getting into cloud security, you're probably going to know AWS, you're going to know Azure, right? You're going to know the cloud platforms. And the same with application security. You're going to know something about programming. And then network security, you have to understand networking, right? So you don't have to be an expert, but you do need to have some fundamental knowledge of the technology you're going to go secure, right? That's what's going to make you an effective security practitioner. Like for myself, I'm a network engineer. I know how to build networks. I know all the networking technologies. And because of this, I'm able to identify the risks within the network infrastructure and, the controls that need to be put in place to mitigate those risks, right? You can't be an effective network engineer without understanding security, right? So you become what's called a security conscious network engineer. Or if you want to take it to the next level, then you become a network security engineer, meaning you know networking, but you also know the security aspects of networking, right? And because it has to be included in your design. You can't just build a network and then bolt security on the top of it. You can't do that anymore. It has to be integrated, and everything's integrated now. So you have to understand security if you could be a network engineer, and you have to understand networking if you're going to be a network security engineer. They go hand in hand. Because I encountered security people. I had no understanding of networking, and the very things they were proposing would have had a detrimental impact on the network. That is because, they didn't understand what their controls were going to do. The idea is to protect information or data from those who shouldn't have access to it. But when you put in security controls that block the people that should have access to it, then there's a problem. So that's why it's important to understand, how the network works and how to properly apply these security controls. So if you're considering a career in cybersecurity, you really need to research what aspect of cyber interests you. If it's networking, is it cloud, is it application, pen testing, threat hunting, right? You really need to start looking at, what aspects of security would you'd be interested in doing, right? It's not just, hey, I want to get into security, but this is what I want to be doing within security. And that's kind of what I do with my students, right? So, I have entry-level students, and I provide a foundational knowledge in cybersecurity and networking, right? So they have the knowledge to either start as a security-conscious network technician, or they could be a network-conscious security analyst, right? So the foundation is there. And, whatever direction they decide to grow their career, that this foundational knowledge is going to benefit them, right? It's what's going to make them a stronger engineer as they progress in their career, right? So how do you get started, right? And I'm just going to kind of go high level, and these are things we're going to be digging into as we talk more in future episodes. I'll tell you, the first thing you don't need is you don't need a college degree. I know a lot of people think, you need to go to college for this. No, you don't. And the other thing is, and which might be surprising, is you don't need experience, right? The key to getting into this industry is certification, right? Because what a certification does, it demonstrates your knowledge and skill set when you don't have experience. So the employer looks at your resume and they see, well, you've got this certification, then they know the skill and knowledge that's associated with that certification. And by you having that certification, it shows that you're knowledgeable in that area. They'll say, oh, you're certified in this. Well, then you should know this, right? You should have this level of knowledge for this certification. And that's exactly what happens, right? I've had many graduates get IT jobs without college degrees and without experience. But it's just because that certification. And again, this is things that we're going to be talking about in future episodes. The type of certifications to pursue, which would, depending on, again, what part of security you want to get involved in. So that's, if you're going to take away anything that we just talked about, or what I just shared, just know you can start with cybersecurity without any experience and without a college degree. And the other thing is, you can get started in 6 months. I've seen it done time and time again. My students take my 20-week course, pass the certification exam, and then they get their first IT job. So it's very doable. I've seen it done, and I can help you with that. So I know I brushed over a lot in this episode, but like in future episodes, we'll go a lot deeper in these topics. So going forward, we're going to be dropping a new episode every Monday. I hope you continue to join me. And know what? If you could provide me some feedback, let me know what you want to hear more about or any questions you would like to answer. Put it in the comments of the episode, or, better yet, join the Facebook group and submit it there. You go to cyberjobhacks.com. That'll take you right to a private Facebook group. Join it, submit your questions, your comments, anything you want me to talk about. I'd love to hear it. I moderate, a review, and I get back to everybody. So, definitely send me your comments, and I'll get back to you either. I'll definitely get back to you directly, and who knows, it might turn into a future episode. Hey, just want to thank you all for listening to me. I hope this is helpful, and I look forward to, talking more about this in future episodes. So, again, please join me. Thank you. This fall, Team Caveo will be launching a digital version of their Secure Network Foundation course, designed to prepare you for the Cisco CCST networking and cybersecurity certifications. This program has successfully prepared graduates to launch careers in the IT industry. Become a Team Caveo member to receive a free, exclusive preview of the course prior to its official launch. Join our community at cyberjobhacks.com or our mailing list at teamcaveo.com/join. Thank you for listening to Cyber Job Hacks Podcast. I hope you found today's episode helpful. If you did, please share with a friend. And also, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback will benefit our future episodes. So please join us every Monday as we explore how to enter the cybersecurity job market.